Hi, this is Kim Watson of Ezeetrader. This is my first cryptocurrency weekly outlook. I've been popping Bitcoin in the end of my weekly outlook for the rest of the currencies, the fiat currencies, as most people may have it if you're into cryptos. But I decided just to separate them also because I wanted to look at more than just Bitcoin. So I intend to widen this a little bit and a bit more data as we follow through with some major headline data. I'm not going to put too much in this week. It's going to be just a more technical analysis than anything else, and looking at it from a purely technical basis. Now, one thing I would say is I will add what fundamental data is there, what's happening in the Bitcoin world or crypto world as we go through a little bit more. But if you enjoy this, please give it a thumbs up, and it will encourage me to do more of them. But for now, here we go. So looking at Bitcoin itself, where are we with it and what's it doing? Technically, he's just put this sort of bear flag pattern in, technically, which is broken down. It's a shame I actually recorded. This is my second recording. I managed to do a recording and the mic wasn't fully in. The second time I tested it, it worked okay. Walked outside, tripped over the lead. Anyway, there's a story. Anyway, first time it was much higher than this. Anyway, it's a bearish flag. And it looks like it's some key areas to be looking for here as it moves down. I know there's a lot of people pretty bullish on it. And it's the interesting thing is, even on the futures markets, there's a very bullish bias to Bitcoin, which I can understand to a degree. One thing I'd watch out for, of course, is when it's not moving and it starts breaking the lows, like any other market, I'm sure we'll get people squeezed out of this market. So we'll see a squeeze on the longs, particularly those with stops, and or the idea of they'll sell if it breaks below these lows. They may not have any sort of physical stops on anything unless they're trading it with futures or with a spread better or another forex dealer. But I would imagine there could be and the way this is moving, the potential for it to come down as we run down towards these prior lows here. Now there was a solid bodies back in June 2018 there. Since then it came down, it sort of tested that area and bounced quite quickly, and then had a decent well, we could call it a dead cat bounce, but it was over a longish period, although maybe not quite a dead cat bounce. But it looks at one stage that perhaps this may go back up to the highs there. Strong selling then came in, and we've heard all sorts of things today. I was reading something which was quite negative. Bitcoin under pressure due to a crypto exchange unwinding 1 billion of digital currency. Now, just because they're unwinding it and handing it out doesn't mean to say everyone that owns that Bitcoin will actually then try and get rid of it. So they may hold on to it thinking it's going to go back up again, which it may well do. If they all did sell it, it could be I think it's a bit sensationalization because it's a bit or currency, a cryptocurrency, but it could well cause a bigger shift through these lows here. So something to watch out for as we move down in this direction. As I said, at the moment I would be bearish on it. I can't see a reason to buy it as it sits here, and with that fundamental data it doesn't help things either. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. I said I'll look at some others. Ripple seems to have a lot less volatility in the market. It has sold off somewhat, so let me just hide that. Has sold off over the month since way back in June, but well, it's not doing terribly bad in real terms. Yes, it's halved or whatever it might, but maybe it's just softening again here. There is quite a lot of selling pressure apparently on this, and the bears are sort of getting more aggressive on it, but we could see a continuation to the downside for sure, and it certainly looks that way. So that's Ripple. Ethernet's not escaping anything here either. I've been looking over this. I actually was looking at Ethernet on a weekly basis just to see what was going on. Strong downward trend at the moment, so not a great time to be looking to buy. So someone asked me today, actually, we were speaking about it, and it's such a buzz about it, as the temptation is for people still now to start buying, but I think this may still have some downside here. There's other reasons, fundamental reasons, which I'm not going to go into depth with at the moment, but technically, just looking at what's going on, it seems to be selling on any half decent retracement, and it was looking half decent for a few days last week. It was like it was starting to find a bit more upside potential. Let's just run out and see if we can get a bit more time in this. Let's just put a bit more data in there, and looking for prior lows there. We've already broken through almost the very earliest. Let's go all the way back and see what data where it started from. It sitting there. Okay, there's still some legs and potential for it to drop off some more there, and still technically find its base where it started, way back around about the 1286 area. So at the moment, looking weak. I know you don't want to hear me say 1286, and it may not come all the way back to that sort of level, but there is potential. Certainly the way this is moving at the moment. I know I'm looking at a weekly basis here, but let's come back to the dailies here. You just look at the trend here. It's at the moment certainly getting squeezed and pushed down further. So there you go. Not the most bullish of starting points, and I'm sure some of you guys would have liked to have heard, if you're trading or holding positions, you'd like to have heard something great. But remember, like just with any currency, you should be looking at stop losses, deciding on where you should be exiting any positions that you're taking. Yes, you need to bear in mind the volatility, but just like any investment or any trade, you should have stops in place in terms of where you get out. You should have targets when you start buying in. Of course, you can trade these through quite a few brokers now. Actually, forex brokers are starting to add the main, the Bitcoin, the Ripples, and the Ethernets, which I've covered here. I will look for, potentially at some more in coming weeks, but there's your starter for 10. Have a great week. Bye for now.